Narrator serious. Gripping tone. They say World War I began with a single bullet, a political assassination that set Europe ablaze. But what if the real spark wasn't in Sarajevo, but in the banks of London, Paris, and Berlin? Behind every general's plan and every soldier as march stood another kind of army: financiers, bond dealers, and bankers. They didn't fight with guns, but with gold. And when their fragile web of money snapped, the world went to war. This is the untold story of how financial rivalries, not just political ones, helped ignite the deadliest conflict the world had ever seen. Setting the stage, the golden age of illusion. Before 1914, Europe seemed unstoppable. The British pound ruled global trade. France lent to empires. Germany's factories outproduced them all. And every major power was linked through the gold standard, a promise that every paper note could be exchanged for gold. It was meant to guarantee peace and prosperity. But it also locked nations together in a system of fragile trust. Each country needed gold to fund trade and war, and they began hoarding it. The result? A financial arms race long before the military one began. Origins to breaking point. When money turns to war. As Europe industrialized, competition turned to paranoia. Nations borrowed heavily to build navies and armies. Banks like the Rothschilds, Barings, and Morgan financed weapons, railways, and empires. By 1913, Europe as peace was built on debt, and one political crisis could send the system crashing down. When Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated, panic spread faster than armies could mobilize. Stock markets tumbled. Gold reserves froze. Governments suspended the gold standard, breaking their most sacred economic promise. To keep the war machine running, nations turned to war bonds. Citizens were told, lend your savings. Fund victory. Britain and France sold billions, while J.P. Morgan and Co. became the Allies' secret banker, financing supplies and weapons even before America entered the war. War had become a business, and debt, its fuel. Fallout. The price of victory. When the guns fell silent in 1918, Europe was broke. Germany was burdened with impossible reparations. Britain and France owed billions to the U.S. To survive, they printed money, and inflation followed. In 1923, a loaf of bread in Germany cost trillions of marks. Entire middle classes were wiped out. And the resentment from those ruins would soon give rise to something even darker: another war. Modern parallels. The same game, new players. A century later, the stage looks eerily familiar. Global debt now exceeds $315 trillion, 3 times the world's economy. Nations still borrow to sustain power, believing growth will pay the bill. Financial interdependence once promised peace, but now breeds fragility. Like 1913, a single shock could shake the entire world. Takeaways and closing, lessons from the past. Lesson 1. Money is never neutral. It's a tool of power. Lesson 2. Debt fuels growth until it fuels collapse. Lesson 3. Economic peace lasts only as long as trust does. Narrator, final line. World War I showed us that when credit runs out, conflict begins. If history rhymes, the next great war may not start with a gunshot, but with a market crash. Fade out. Bankers, bonds, and battlefields.